Hi Eddie, I'm Ezelle from the upcoming. It's really lovely to speak to you this evening.
Nice to talk to you. How are you?
Very well, thank you. I love your nails.
Thank you. Yes, dangerous now.
No. So how does it feel to be involved with Joe on this amazing kind of modernisation of a classic, really?
It's wonderful opportunity. We had open gender casting, and man was considered, woman was considered. Then they said, "Why don't it be a trans character?" I happen to be trans. I was asked. It's an interesting stage of my career, and it's a great character to be able to play. In the olden days, there used to be a lot of attention to the physical transformation, but what seemed more interesting to us was to have the mental transformation. So you can't tell if it's Rachel Hyde or if it's Nina Jekyll. So those two people, hopefully when they're watching the scenes, they will not be able to tell who is controlling my body.
Yeah, and talking about those characters, obviously I know you're playing dual sort of characters. How did you kind of prepare for that? Because you've got a kind of steely role all the way through. You're very sort of determined, a very slow build to this. How did you prepare for that?
Well, it's not a real person, so you can go and look at all the other Jekyll and Hydes. That's not something that I would want to do. I just wanted to read the novella, and it is a novella as opposed to a novel. It is short, and a lot of it leaves it to your imagination. Now, I've got a good imagination, so it was great, and Joe just let me go fly with it, so that I just had to find my way between when it was Rachel, when it was Nina, and just be able to tip the scenes in the way that I wanted to, so that sometimes I didn't know who was in control. Hopefully the audience will know who's in control. But it was left a lot to my imagination. The script was there. It is a modern interpretation of it. The fact that I'm trans actually doesn't affect the story at all. It's just as casting should be. Ever since Will and Grace happened, great sitcom in America, Will was gay, but it didn't matter. So what did he do in his life? What was his adventures? That's what's important. So if you're trans, you're LGBTQ+, it doesn't matter in a film. What are you going to do with that? That is like a background feature. Just like what is your color of your skin? It doesn't matter. What do you do? What is your character's part in the film? So I was just allowed to explore, and I was very happy to do it.
And what about working with Scott in a role opposite you? What was that like? How did you kind of build that relationship?
With Scott, well, he's already experienced with working with Joe. He has got his own directing career, doing a lot of horror films, which is fascinating. I love the fact that he does that. But it clicked quite quickly. I'm not sure how it was for Scott, but I was very happy to have him there. I've just got to be. I had to be somewhere that was going to unsettle him at all times. So that's all that it so he doesn't know where, because he's kind of like the audience for me. How Scott's character is to me is how the audience is to me, and that he shouldn't know what's going on, and the audience doesn't know what's going on. And half of me didn't know quite who was taking control of my head, and I quite like that feel of just leaning back rather than leaning forward, not pushing but leaning back. So yeah, it was great playing with him. And with the great Lindsay Duncan as well, who I started off my theatrical career with Lindsay Duncan. So
yeah, she's amazing, isn't she? And obviously it feels really claustrophobic being set in that house, a bit like the Rocky Horror Picture Show or something. Everything kind of set in that house has got a real claustrophobic feel, and then there's this kind of chess game between you two as well. So what was that like?
It is. It's a grand old stately house, and I lived there at the time, so I kind of felt like I owned it, which is a nice place to be because my character did own it. And playing chess, we had to learn those moves. Those are real moves. We are doing a real chess game there, because if you think about it, you can play a chess game where you just move the pieces around. But no, we want to know what we're doing here, and so we're actually playing a certain gambit out there. I feel in acting, and I feel in these characters, the place you're always trying to drive, I was trying to drive Nina or Rachel, is just somewhere unusual. Just somewhere where you're going, the audience going, oh, well, okay, I didn't expect that to be coming out. So you're driving it down this unusual path. And chess games in front of big open fires, we kind of know that idea, that frame. And then where do you go after that? Because I kind of I start smoking the strange drug that affects things, and then it goes to a different place. So we'll let the audience see that and see what they think.
And think obviously very timely coming out at Halloween. What are some of your own personal favourite horror films?
Well, I don't know. I'm actually quite scared by horror because there was horror. I mean, the Hammer horror films are just great. And that has a certain sense of humor within them. And then you can get to a full-blown horror, which just scares the pants off you, which I'm not sure is quite me. I was in Hannibal Lecter's story with Mads Mikkelsen, the TV series, and some of that was just eye-wateringly horrific. So we're going to a more psychological place. But yeah, the Hammer horror film, you can almost pick a Hammer horror film, and it's going to be fun.
Well, thank you so much for speaking to us. Enjoy your evening tonight. Thank you.